Hey, everybody. Welcome into Friday's Early Edge Live. Great to have you aboard as we continue to do this every single day. Coach is off today, but I've got a great crew. Let's bring them in right now and start talking NBA and MLB and Aaron Nola. Has anyone ever done this before? 9 strikeouts to start the game, I believe. Is anybody tracking that game or watching that game?
I am pulling it up right now because you said that, but I am not. I haven't been tracking it yet today.
I'm looking at his box score. Oh, I'm sorry. He's given up a hit. So 3 innings, 1 hit, 9 Ks. Wish I'd gotten on his over today. But anyways, welcome in Allan Bell. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, Larry. How we doing? Zach, Mike, everybody. We doing all right?
Zack,
doing good. I'm doing good. Glad to be back. Glad to do a show with you, Allan, for the first time, and let's have some fun today.
All right, and Mikey, good to see you again. I see you every morning. Now I get to see you in the afternoon as well. What's jumped out at you so far as in terms of any line moves today?
Just public, or I guess a public sharp action. Everyone willing to back the Milwaukee Bucks still at this point. That's definitely the story here in this one. After they lost that game, we thought we might see, where it opened at -7. We kind of thought the market might settle in there, but it is all the way up to -9 in a few spots. Good 2 points of line movement. I think some of that indicates we might get some news on Bogdanovich. He might potentially sit. I think it's the right move for the Hawks to go ahead and sit him. They actually, if you watch the game, they had a few comments on it in the actual telecast that were intelligent comments. Like, you watch them normal times off of a steal, like, he just has no acceleration whatsoever. Like, they had runouts where they could have normally had easy buckets. They're not getting. So I think that might be some of it, but overall, definitely the sharp side appears to be the Bucks again in this one.
Yeah, I mean, his props are still up. They've come crashing down. You could have gotten under 16.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now you got to lay a big juice to go under 15.5. I'm thinking they may take him down at some point, and I don't know if the Hawks are worse off without. I mean, rest him. Solomon Hill played well and had a big play towards the end of the game. Was pretty strong with the ball. Any other thoughts on Bogey before we're going to dive into this game at length? But Zach or Allan, go ahead.
Well, I was disappointed. I gave that out on the live show on Wednesday, but he just didn't have it. I would have rather had him just sit out that game for that prop. But it'll be interesting to see because, like you said, Larry, they have the depth. It seems like they have the depth advantage right now over the Bucks, at least in terms of the amount of players they're playing.
Yep. Completely agree.
Hey, guys, let's get to 100 likes. I'm not watching the likes, so I don't know where we're at. Let's get there fast so I can give away that 1-year free subscription to SportsLine, which is a $100 value. Let's get there fast. Okay, guys, let's jump right into this game. Mike is saying that you can grab 9 right now with the Atlanta Hawks, the Hawks who are 6-2 on the road, the Hawks who are playing over 700 ball under Nate McMillan. Is that attractive to you? Let's start with Mike.
That number at 9, it looks like William Hill's got it 8.5. It's approaching 9 around the market in a few spots, but 8.5 is definitely the consensus at this point. At that point, I would probably have to take the Hawks if it hit 9. The number is 6.7 in my simulation, so it's a pretty meaningful edge at this point in the season at that point. So I don't love it, but that's certainly where the data would tell me that I would have to go. I think that thing that sticks out in my head is basically they got a career night from Trae Young and likely should have lost the game still, while Milwaukee shot 22% from 3. So that's why the market is at 8.5, 9 where it is. It was just a perfect storm for the Atlanta Hawks in that game. Trae's going to have career night pretty much every night against this team. So
I'm going to get back to this when we talk about the total, but the Bucks took 36 3-pointers. 31 were considered open or wide open. They only made 8. Chris Middleton is not that bad of a shooter. 0 for 9. Zach, what's your take on the spread here?
Well, the playoff patterns, we've seen it with the Clippers, and we've seen it with these two teams too. The Atlanta Hawks in game one, they beat the Knicks as underdogs. They beat the 76ers as underdogs. Then they beat the Bucks, obviously, in game one as underdogs. But they've had a pattern in game two of playing the worst postseason basketball. They had that big lead in game two against the Knicks, then were outscored by 22 points in the second half. Then, of course, they lost in game two to the 76ers by a big margin as well. And the Bucks, they had an overtime game one against Miami Heat. Let's not forget about that. And then they lost in whopping fashion to the Nets. So that playoff pattern holds here. I like the Bucks in game one. I have a lean on this one just because of the big point spread here.
AB, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with Zach on this one. I mean, you look at what the Hawks have done. Game ones this postseason, gone on the road, won every one of them, covered every one of them. What do they do in game two? They've lost every one of them, failed to cover every one of them. And the two that game twos that they had, you average that margin of defeat is 12.5 points. So I'm not saying that correlates exactly to tonight. I don't like a spread of 9. I think that's a ton, for the Bucks, because they could be up and down. You don't really know exactly what you're going to get, but they should bounce back tonight. I'm taking the Bucks money line in a parlay to try to dissipate some of that juice. But yeah, I think that this is a good place for the Hawks to kind of fall in this one. I'm not saying they do in the series, but tonight, yeah, I don't like much out of them.
Okay, well, you're looking at the game forecast page on SportsLine, and you're seeing, can't really read it exactly right there, but Mike Barner, one of the top NBA guys, he's on the Hawks. There's another expert who's also on the Hawks. I don't like the side, guys, but I do like the total. 225. I mean, we got to 229 last time with the Hawks shooting 25% from deep and the Bucks shooting 22% from deep. And like I said, those were open trays. And I think, not to use tray, but I think both teams looked very comfortable scoring in the paint. I mean, both teams, how many alley-oop dunks were there for either side? It's just the matchups. And these are two, I know the Bucks are reputed to be a good defensive team, but this matchup doesn't seem like they can really slow down Atlanta. I think they could definitely outscore Atlanta. I like the over here. I just think the shooting is going to come back. And I also think the Bucks are going to play smaller. I don't think we're going to see a lot of Brook Lopez after he got exposed, but that could, up the pace a little bit. Anybody have a play on the total? Mikey, I'll start with you. It seems like every playoff game you lean under, and you've been right. 90% of the time we've had these shows. What do you like tonight?
Yeah, this one might surprise you, but I lean over on it on this one today at the current number in the market. I made it really close to it. I mentioned the under falling in the last game on this one. I mentioned where my number was, and to the point where there was no longer anything left on the bone to play it because the market had moved so much. I thought the market was basically efficient last time. I think it was still efficient at that number. I think it's a pretty strong overreaction here. So in my simulations right now, I have it at 227.9. That's where I would go. I would play the over on it in this one, which is rare because I'm usually pretty strong under in the NBA playoffs.
Okay, we got two opinions on the over. Zach?
I'm going to have to agree with both of you on this, and it mainly has to do with the Atlanta Hawks. They never give up. You saw that in the 76ers. Even if they're down 18, 20 points, they're not going to pull their starters. I know you got mad at the Nuggets for doing that in game 3, but they're not going to pull their starters, and it's been a pattern when they've had big leads or big deficits. They're going to play through it, and the Bucks, they have to respond. You talked about Chris Middleton. He has to respond like he did in that Nets series, and I think the bench is going to up their production. I'll talk about Pat Connaughton here in a little bit, but I expect the Bucks to have a big game offensively as well.
AB, you're going to make it unanimous.
You know what? I am. I like the over on this one. Exactly what you guys were saying. And I think tonight, you can't bet on this. I think it's a good candidate for an overtime type game. Like I can see it being tight and then the Bucks pulling late in overtime. So yeah, I'm going to roll with you guys on this one.
Okay. Well,
I'll make it official then. If we're all on it, I'll go ahead and make it an official play. I'll put the name behind it on this one.
All right, let's do it. We are on the over officially. Producer Johnny, let's get into some of these props. We've got plays from Prop Stars. We've got a play from Mad Max. We've got plays from this group right here. Let's start with the Bucks if we can get their prop numbers up on the screen. Giannis, 33.5 points. Let's just start right there with him. Anybody have an opinion on the Greek Freak? 33.5.
I slight lean towards the over. Believe it or not, I have him at 34.2 in the simulations. It is a big number, as we know, but I definitely have him getting there in this one in the median simulation. So kind of correlates with me having the Bucks favored by about 7 and a slight lean on the over in my simulation. So those two things are going to be the reason why I'm slightly at or above the market on Giannis's number here.
I'm also leaning over. He scored at least 30 in every game since the start of, except for one game, since the start of the net series, and 33 or more in all but 2. Down 1-0 at home. I think I'm going to lean over as well. Zach or AB, you want to chime in on Giannis?
No, I don't want to touch the star player on the Bucks in this one. I do think he's going to have a good game, but it crept up. I think it was 31 or 32 in the game 1 offering. I don't like the line move upward on him for game 2.
Got it. What about Connaughton? You like Connaughton tonight?
Yeah, I do like Pat Connaughton. You're going to have to pay the juice on this one, minus 135 for the over on 6.5 points. You look at that.
He's got to hit the rim, though, Zach. He's got to get the shot to hit the rim.
He's got to hit the rim. 1 for 6. That was an awful shot, Larry. Awful shot. 1 for 6 in game 1. 0 for 4 from 3-point range. But this has kind of been a pattern with Connaughton. You look at his stats throughout the year. He'll go 0 for in a game, but he still shoots 37% from 3-point range. What I like about him most, he played 29 minutes in game 1. That's 7 minutes higher than his season average. And Brook Lopez, he only played 20 minutes. So they're going to lean to Pat Connaughton. He needs to be on the floor. He belongs on the floor. And I expect a better game from him.
I like a correlated play with that, and that is Brook Lopez under his points, rebounds, and assists. And it's falling because you saw he was on the court in the first half, and that drop coverage, Trae Young loved it. I mean, he loved it. I think he hit seven floaters in the first half. When Brook got taken out in the third quarter, I believe he did not come back. He finished with 20 minutes, which is, several below his average. And I think that's how they're going to play. Put Giannis at the 5, so Giannis can play the switch, can switch on the pick and get in Trae's face, and Trae taking those 30-footers, which worked out for a while for the Bucks, and they just could not grab the rebounds. But I think that's how they're going to play. And also Portis talking about how he wants to do blitz coverage, and I think that's how they're going to try and play Trae Young. And we know Brook Lopez is not capable of doing that. So correlated play. I like Pat Connaughton, to hit a few shots and get to 8 points. AB, good to have you back. We are talking about Connaughton over. We're talking about Brook Lopez under. Any Bucks props that you really like tonight? I think he's stunned by that great information. We just had some great info. Go ahead, Mikey.
Yeah, so I am in agreement with both of you there. The only thing I will say is if you want to, I don't even know if you can find a Bryn Forbes prop, but if you can, I wouldn't shock me, depending on how well Connaughton plays or does not play, if Bryn Forbes earns a few additional minutes. So one thing that I like about Forbes, not really in contrast to Connaughton, but Forbes is going to be ultra aggressive offensively when he is on the floor. If he has a 3 to 4 minute stretch where he makes a few shots, that might earn him an extra 4 to 6 minutes in this basketball game. So he's someone like, if you can find the prop, I think it's fine taking a flyer. If you're playing daily fantasy, he's dirt cheap in some of these showdown contests. I think you could take a flyer there. So what I like from him is he's going to have 15% usage, which is a healthy number for a player like that in a role player situation. So I like it.
Sean in the chat says it's 5.5 points on DraftKings.
Yep. I like it a lot. I like the edge on Forbes and Connaughton both. I have about 1.4 points over on Connaughton. And what is the number here? You said 5.5. I have Bryn Forbes.
7.5 points, rebounds, assists is 7.5. Yeah.
Yep. So I would be comfortable with the 5.5 points on Forbes. I have his median number at 6.8 in this one. Again, I'm shading a few minutes away from Lopez, going to Connaughton, more to Bobby Portis, more to Bryn Forbes. I think it's going to be a 3-headed monster of those 3 that take away from Brook Lopez. And then if PJ Tucker gets in any foul trouble, they want to play him less offensively. But I think that's where this is trending, because as we've talked about, they're not going to shoot 22% from three. And where some of those makes are going to come from is Connaughton and Bryn Forbes.
And I like that as well, Mikey, because remember, these guys didn't really play much in the net series. They had that limited depth, that limited bench. Both of these guys really saw their first action in a while in game one. Forbes played 12 minutes, Connaughton played 29 minutes, and Bobby Portis, he played 15 minutes. So I think their production is going to start increasing as the series goes on. And tonight's the play on them.
Zach, that's such a great point because they played 6 guys in that series. And, was Middleton go 0 for 9 and miss a good look because he's been playing 40-plus minutes? At some point, these guys are going to have to step up. Maybe that week off or however long it had been since they played meaningful minutes really affected them. But now they've got that game under their belt. So, yes, they should produce a little bit. I have a play from Prop Stars that I want to give out, but hit the like button. Let's get to 100. Leave your Twitter handle, and then we will announce the winner of the free year-long sub. Before we get to 200, we got to get to 100. I think these guys are giving you great info so far, great breakdowns. I think we're going to see a lot of it play out like that tonight. Prop Stars is on Drew Holiday, over 19.5 points. He said, he had 33 in game one, took 25 shots, looked extremely confident. Very confident. I mean, I think he knows that Trae Young or Lewis Williams or who's ever out there, he's got a mismatch. The Hawks guards are not great defenders. We know that. He played 42 minutes. He and Giannis were the best players on the floor for the Bucks. So he's going back to the well. It's not that big a number. This guy's had a real rough playoffs though. But this matchup seems to like it. What do you guys think of that play from Prop Stars?
I definitely don't hate it. The issue that I'm getting to is because I'm on the Bucks heavily and the over, I'm basically finding my number to be on the market or above for every single Bucks player. That's most likely not going to happen, obviously, but I do like it. I like Drew Holiday. I think he's going to play big minutes in this one. I think that he's going to be on the floor a lot. And like I said, I think it's Brook Lopez basically. Like, it wouldn't shock me. He's going to play, obviously, but it wouldn't shock me if he gets a similar Bobby Portis treatment where Portis just dropped out of the rotation completely. It wouldn't shock me at all if that happened to Brook Lopez after his first 6-minute stint in this game. And I think it's going to lead to the extended minutes of these starters like Holiday, Middleton, and Giannis. And then the rest is going to get soaked up by Forbes and Connaughton, who we've already talked about. So I'm totally on board and totally fine playing Drew Holiday over.
Okay. And Alex, Prop Stars, he has a real name. It's Alex, and he has been incredible as he usually is, but he's on a real nice playoff run. Let's get to the Hawks props, guys. I think that was some really good stuff about Milwaukee. Let's look at this. Trae at 30.5, Herter 13.5, Collins at 16.5, Bogey down to 10.5. What has happened? This guy, you had to go over 17.5 in the Knicks series. Capella 12.5. I'm just going to throw out an opinion that I have, which is over assists on Trae. It's pretty obvious, after a guy scores 48, they're going to try to take the ball out of his hands a little bit. They have to, I think he'll end up around 30. I don't have a play on his points at all, but I think getting to double-digit assists. I'm watching the game right now on NBA TV, rewatching this game and seeing guys miss open shots where he could have had more assists. He had 11. I love 9.5 assists over. Mikey, I'll start with you. Trae Young prop or any Hawks prop you like.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the juice on that one. What's the price on that over?
It's minus 125 last I saw, because and double is also minus 125 because it's a given he's going to score 10 points. So
right. So I do have the over on that in the Sims. It's right at 9.9, but could very easily make the case for more. We talked about it heading into that game that we didn't think that they were going to double or give any extra attention to him. And they didn't really, and left Brook Lopez on the floor. I don't think that they're going to do that as much tonight. So I'm with you there. I wish Bogdanovich was healthy to shoot these threes that he's going to kick to, but I think they have more than enough shooters. They have more than enough scoring. And then I also think that, we've kind of seen it a little bit. Giannis will challenge at the rim on some players. He's not going to challenge a ton on Capella and some of these, and Collins, frankly, a lot when they're getting all these little dump offs. I think that's going to still continue to happen a little bit, especially at stretches of the game that, for lack of a better term, are unimportant. I think that he's going to be able to go in there and mop it up. So yeah, I'll take the over on that one.
Great. AB, any Hawks prop you'd like? Doesn't have to be these scoring props. Could be any Hawks prop.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm not taking a prop on my computer's operating system. I'll tell you that. Not going to be out there. Yeah, look, I think that this is the year of Trae Young, and I think that just his story is fantastic. And I know that doesn't correlate to anything whatsoever in terms of betting, but I just like this kid, and I think that he fires back. If you're looking at 30.5, I think that, that's a strong play. Do I think he's going to get close to 50? No, I don't. But I just think that this is about Trae Young. So, I'm not saying go out there and find a bunch, of high juice type plays, but I think Trae Young legitimately is going to go over 30.5. Do what you will, on assists in terms of, Bogdanovich not being in there. I don't have a play on that, but yeah, if you're giving me 30.5 points, Trae's going over.
And we see the juices come up on 9.5 assists all the way to -135. Hey guys, we have a good question about Capella and Collins that we want to put up on the screen, and put any question in the chat. We're going to get to as many as we can. The question is it negatively correlated to take Collins and Capella over their rebound props? And I will tell you that Mad Max is on Collins over 9.5 rebounds. I love that play. 12.8 boards the last 5 games. And also with the Bucks going a little bit smaller, you saw Capella and Collins both clean up on the glass, especially the offensive glass late. But Mikey, what about that negative correlation? Is there one?
Yeah, there's definitely a negative correlation. It's unfortunate, especially, there's a negative correlation for sure in the rebounding. Can they both get there with extended minutes in this game? Of course they can. Not something I'd be interested in with Giannis on the other side, with, I think, Middleton probably going to be playing a lot more aggressive tonight, with Bobby Portis out there, who's going to be actively looking for more rebounds than Brook Lopez does. So while I think it's okay, and you probably missed your opportunity to do it, which was game 1, it's a pretty meaningful negative correlation and not something I'd generally be looking at doing.
So I prefer Collins over 9.5 than Capella over 13.5. Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I'm looking at John Collins here. I agree with Mikey. It's definitely a negative correlation here. Capella's the more consistent rebounder. You look at John Collins, he only averages 7 rebounds per game in the regular season, but he's had over his last 5 playoff games, 12, 11, 10, 16, and then game 1, 15. So you got to expect a regression a little bit there that will correlate with the Bucks shooting better from 3-point range. They're not going to go 8 for 32 again. So I think you stick with Capella, the big man.
You gave me a little pause on my play right there. That was good info. But guys, we're at 100 likes. We are going to give away a free 1-year subscription to SportsLine. And now, when we get to 200, we're going to give away 2 more. You got to put your Twitter handle, even if you've already done it. Tell us whether you're going over, like all of us are going over, or under on this game, and that will make you eligible to win. If you don't win it among the first 100, you will still be eligible to win once we get to 200 likes. So any other Hawks props that people are on? Go ahead, Zach.
The Capella, I forgot what it popped up on the screen, but I like him over the points because he's getting these easy baskets. He's getting these alley-oops consistently. And you look at, they're going to give up something to Trae Young, and I think it's going to be the dribble drive. They're not going to let him take those threes anymore. You don't want him getting warmed up from 3-point range like he did in game 1. So they're going to let him do those dribble drives. And I think Capella can get 2 or 3 more alley-oops. 12.5. I would take the over on 12.5 for Capella. And he's just a scrapper. You saw him and Collins right at the end, the way they were playing. So he can get some offensive rebound putbacks as well.
Okay, is that an official play?
No, that's a lean on our lean on the screen.
Okay. AB or Mikey, any other Hawks props? If not, I want to get to announce our winner.
Nothing from me.
All right.
If you really want to, if you have a strong read on Bogdanovich playing and being limited again, like I think they're probably going to end up ruling him out here, but we'll see what happens. But if you have a beat on, you think that he's for sure going to suit up and try to play, I do not hate either Herter or Gallinari on the over on the points, just because I think that he's going to be limited. Bogdanovich, I think he needs to set a game personally. So I think that if he does go out there and play, I want to look at his minutes again where he was, but I know that the the minutes were certainly dropping, and I expect that to continue. Yeah, he's down to 27 in the last one, 21. Yeah, he's definitely not approaching or playing over 30 minutes. So I like those two, either Gallinari or Kevin Herter, if you think that he's going to play and not get ruled out.
Yeah, Herter only made one tray. That was that nice behind the back pass that he did cash in, but he was 1 for 6, and he still finished with 13 points. So that's one I like if Bogey doesn't play. Our winner, and I'm so glad it is Dallas. It is Dallas _S_Hale94. You have won. Johnny or the jeweler will get in touch. This guy is a consistent, loyal follower and listener. Congratulations, Dallas. Happy to have you as a official SportsLine member. Guys, let's shift gears for a second. Let's get to the other plays that we have. There's a big card tonight. MLB, hockey, a lot on the board. AB, I'm going to start with you. Give me your card for tonight.
Yep. So my card, look, tonight's a big juice night. There's a lot of it out there. And you know what? I don't want to play those individually. So look, I like the Lightning. If you look at what they've done in terms of not losing back-to-back games in the postseason, you know what? They haven't done it in 2 years. Whenever they've lost in the last 2 postseasons, they're 11-0 straight up after that. But I also don't want to play that at -170. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Lightning in regulation at -110. They're at home, Game 7. I think they get this thing done. Look, teams that score first in Game 7s of the NHL all time, 75% straight up, 2-0 this year. You know what Tampa has done to the Islanders in the last 4 games? They've outscored them 5-0 in the first period. I think Tampa continues that. I'm going to play them to win in regulation. If you look at Major League Baseball, again, the story is juice, but I'm going to parlay 3 of these, or actually 2 of them, with the Bucks money line that we talked about earlier. And here's my parlay, pays out +140. Bucks money line. I'm going to take the Astros money line because
you can't do that.
Yeah,
postponed.
PPD, Astros game, gone.
Yeah, it got postponed. Yep. Well, never mind. Then we're going to cut that down a little bit. But look, here's the deal. I'm going to put the Padres out there against the Diamondbacks. We've seen Arizona. They've lost 23 games straight on the road. But you look at the Padres. They've outscored their opponents by 18 runs in the last 7 games. And their pitcher, Chris Paddock, hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in his last 6 wins. I think San Diego continues that. So we're going to cut that down a little bit. But again, Lightning regulation, Bucks money line, Padres money line.
I like it. Zach, let's answer a question that we got on Connaughton and then also give us your other plays for tonight.
Yeah, I noticed on our early edge show, when I lose on these props, it's always good to have the points, rebounds, and assists. I know I've killed myself a couple of times by just sticking with points. So I do think 12.5 over the points, rebounds, and assists for Pat Connaughton is a good play just in case he does struggle from the field again, because he did have 5 rebounds in Game 1. So I do like that play.
Okay. Do you have anything else for tonight that has not previously been given out in the morning?
Yeah, I do have on the diamond with baseball, the Oakland A's -109 against the San Francisco Giants. The Giants were off yesterday. I think sometimes that can hurt you in a spot against a team like the Oakland A's, they're not technically home, but they're coming back to the Bay Area after a week road trip against the Yankees and the Rangers. And you look back at last year, they dominated the San Francisco Giants. A lot of lopsided victories, won 5 of 6, and they had multiple innings where they scored 4 runs or more. So I think they can get after Johnny Cueto. A prop that I like in this game, +250 for Mark Canha to hit a home run. Johnny Cueto, as I just mentioned, he's struggling. Has given up a leadoff home run in consecutive games. So that's an interesting one there. Even the second time to the order, I think Canha can get a home run off him.
Oh, I love that play. And, I was kind of leaning Giants on this one, but Minaya is real hot. Cueto is better at home than on the road, and the Giants do have a pretty awesome bullpen lately. Mike, any opinion on this game?
Yeah, it's part of my play from the early edge this morning. Actually, I have the
that's right.
the Astros. Right. I have the A's first 5 run line. So half a run +120. Have the A's being ahead at the end of the 5th inning. Not touching late in the game, but I do like Sean Manaea here. I love taking a league shift with a pitcher going to a National League ballpark. Cannot be understated for a guy like him. So, yeah, I like the Oakland A's plus a half a run plus 120.
Minus a half a run, right?
Minus half a run. Sorry. Yes. Minus a half a run plus 120.
Plus 120. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And Mike, were there any other plays that you wanted to add to the card just yet?
I put the official card.
Yeah.
Yeah. The official one is the over 225 in the Bucks game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the official one. And then other than that, I'm very, very close on that Kevin Huerter points prop. Haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I will definitely let you know if I do.
Yeah, let's keep checking the news and Twitter for anything that comes out on Bogey. We've got a couple of baseball questions. One is a general question. Sean says he's seeing a lot of low totals. Any particular reason? Anyone have an opinion on that?
There are a few spots that are the reason for that. So like you look at the Angels cross country travel to the Rays indoor dome, negative park shift for them, great pitching environment overall. The Nationals on the road in Miami, roof closed, great pitching environment overall. Let's see, there's other ones that kind of stand out. And then the 3 West Coast games are all great pitching environments. So it's going to be San Francisco, San Diego, LA Dodgers, all 3 of those games. Really good pitching environments overall. Shamanaya on the mound, Chris Paddock on the mound. So that's kind of why there's a handful of good hitting environments overall, but mostly a pretty neutral day in terms of weather.
Mm-hmm. How about Royals Rangers? We got a question on Royals Rangers. Zach, do you have any opinion on this game?
I did not. I passed on that one, but I'm looking at it. Mike Minor, of course, he's going to pitch against his old team. That might be a reason why that total's at 8. But no, I don't really have a particular take on either side on that one.
Okay. Anybody else on that game?
Just mention that the roof is closed there. Typically, like in simulations and stuff, the roof being closed there is worth about 7/10 of a run to the total. It's a massive, massive deal when the roof is open versus closed there in North Texas. So that's why that's certainly going to help both of the pitchers in this game. I'm trying to pull up my number where I had it. I didn't have any value on it early in the day. I have negative value on both teams. No edge.
And good question from Dakota. And I'm glad you brought up the Blue Jays and the Orioles. Would you play minus 2.5 on the Blue Jays? I don't ever go 2.5. I go 1.5, but anybody else, but I do want to talk about this game in a second, but would anybody lay 2.5? What are the odds you're getting at that?
I'll say this while you're looking that up. 2.5 is a lot. Obviously, I'm with you, Larry. I rarely ever do that at all. It might be a good spot to do it, but I'm not putting myself and my neck out there on that one.
I mean, it is Matt Harvey. The Blue Jays did not let the starter yesterday get more than 1 out, which was beautiful. I'm hoping for something similar tonight because I'm on Matt Harvey under 3.5 Ks. He just struck out 4 against the Blue Jays last time out, but his previous 3 starts, 2 strikeouts, 3 strikeouts. And according to Derek Carty, and if you're not following this guy, you really need to, one of the best baseball analysts anywhere, he has the umpire tonight as the number 2 hitters umpire in all out of 110 umpires. And that was one of the things that excited me when I decided I wanted to play Matt Harvey under 3.5 Ks tonight. Zach, you got anything on this game?
Yeah, I'm looking at, I would be cautious on doing the minus 2.5 runs just because of the pitcher Manoah of the Blue Jays. He just pitched against them last week, gave up 5 runs, 4 home runs, only lasted 3.1 innings, and 2 of his last 4 games, he's only lasted 3 innings. So you're going to have to face a Blue Jays bullpen for a lengthy amount of time in this game, and that's definitely not something you want to do with this amount of juice.
Yeah, I would say if you're looking for an alternative play to it, I do like it at minus 2.5. You're getting plus 110. I think it's okay if you like it, as long as you're getting plus money on it. The only other alternative way you can attack it, depending on the sports book that you have, is going to be taking a Blue Jays team total. If you're, obviously the total in the game is also one way to attack it. But if you're not comfortable with the other side of it, take the Blue Jays team total. That's going to give you a little protection and kind of aid in what Larry just told you, what Zach just told you. You're likely going to be getting it very similar juice. I don't know what it's at. I'm guessing it's probably 5.5 is the team total. But if you're thinking they're covering 2.5, winning by 3 runs to give you that win condition for your bet, you most likely think they're scoring 6+ runs. So,
and guys, I want to let's get to 200 likes first of all. Everybody, please, let's get to 200 likes. Put your Twitter handle in the chat. Tell us whether you're going over or under, and we can give away those next subscriptions. I just want to keep taking all these questions because I love seeing the feedback come in and the questions. And somebody said, what about Bucks first half? Is that still 4.5, or has that gone up? I saw it at 4.5 earlier. I'm afraid probably now you might have to lay 5 with the Bucks. I think it makes sense. Obviously, they're going to come out, super determined. Any thoughts on just playing the Bucks for the first half?
5.5 is a big number still.
Wow, it's 5.5 now.
Yeah, it's
okay.
5.5. Yeah. So I honestly think that we just got the comment in the chat there too. If you like that, I would strongly consider if you think they're going to come out hot, I'd strongly consider the first half number, or the first quarter number.
First quarter is minus 2.5. Kevin says that is a lock. And it was funny last night. Everybody was talking about play the team that's down in the first half, that's down 0-2 coming home because it's 80-36. Well, it didn't hit because the Suns led by 2 at half, but it did hit for the first quarter. So if you like that motivational angle, more locked in, desperation at home, think about the first quarter because it showed up last night as well. AB, you got anything on that?
Yeah, no, I love it. And I'll tell you what, I love it so much that I'm going to add it as an official play for me. I love the Bucks 2.5 in the first quarter. Absolutely. I think Kevin's spot on there.
All right, let's lock it in. It's an official play. All right.
Yeah, and you look at the Hawks. They've trailed every first quarter over their last 5 games. I've just went back to 5 games. Let me see if it's 6 games here. 6. Yeah, it could be more than that. The last six playoff games they've trailed in the first quarter.
We just moved the spread from 2.5 to 3.5 at William Hill. It just flipped.
Are you serious?
There we go.
Not that we moved it, but it's 3.5.
Now it is 3.5. Yeah, we literally, in the last minute and a half, 90 seconds. Yeah.
Oh my.
3.5 minus 115.
Elliot V in the chat. I got to say, I miss Coach too. It's not the same without Coach, but we do have a lot of good insight on this. These guys are bringing it. So I also want to give out one other play. Mad Max is on the over on the Padres. And that's the team total over 5. And if you've been following this kid, Max Gorenstein, turning 22 on July 4th. So he has been crushing these team totals. He's been over on the Giants pretty much throughout their win streak. And I'm just getting up his analysis, which he sent me. Corbin Martin, not very good. I think everybody can agree on that. The bullpen is the worst in baseball. Obviously, you don't want to lay 320 or whatever it is. I think it went from 275 to 320. I don't know what it is right now. I played it on the run line when it was minus 140. It's probably a lot higher than that right now. Arizona giving up 6.7 runs per game in their last 10 road games. And the Padres during this win streak against much better competition, I think we can agree, the Dodgers and the Reds, 5.4 runs per game. Mad Max going over 5 runs with the Padres. And he laid some juice to do that. Everybody on board with that?
Well, one thing I've noticed with him, he's been going against the Diamondbacks and successfully. So I would definitely agree with that. Keep riding that with Mad Max.
And thanks, Johnny, for that great visual there. But I love that play. I love that play as well. Guys, I got to hop off. I got to get ready for HQ. I got to clean up and put a blazer on. But Allan, take over. Let's bring it home. Let's get that over tonight. Let's get a Hawks win so I can cash against Mikey and Dustin.
No.
And,
we gotta let that linger a little bit. We got that linger a little bit.
We need more drama. Come on, we gotta sell some views here, Larry. We need one more night.
I don't need no drama on that one. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Catch you
Mike,
next time.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, now as we get back, let's go back to the NBA real quick. I want to ask you guys, where do you see live betting opportunities in this game? Okay. And I know that I'm asking a very open-ended softball type question, but I'm a big live bettor. I enjoy doing it. Where do you see the opportunities that could come on either total, spread, Bucks, Hawks? Like what angles are you looking for to where you'll say, okay, this is kind of where I like it. If I'm live betting, let's hit something here.
Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I'd just say be cautious of deja vu, because I think people are going to look at the Hawks if they're down double digits and say, oh, they did it a bunch of times against the 76ers. They beat them in game one. Maybe they can do it again in game two. So I would say go opposite and maybe take an alternate line on the Bucks winning in a big fashion there. Big spread.
Yeah. I like it.
For me, I would just say watch some of the rotations initially. Game two is definitely a spot where you're going to see some things different on both sides. One, because of injury. Does Cam Reddish make any sort of debut defensively in the series for the Hawks? And then really the big question is going to be what's happening with Brook Lopez. Is he playing a full complement of minutes? Is he going to get a shorter run this game or not? That's going to impact things quite a bit in terms of both the total and which team we like in the game. So, other than that, you can look for things like shooting percentages and things like that. If you want to sit there and actually calculate it, I at times run some live models on it, but basically you can look at baselines and assume certain number of field goal percentage for 3-point shots, for 2-point shots, for free throws, etc. And you can sit there and basically come up with an expected score at the end of every quarter, at the end of every timeout, whatever it may be. It's not going to be perfect, but you can look at expected data for the shots that have been taken in the game. A lot of times you'll see the actual score will be a 3-point spread for one team when the other team should be winning by 2 points, should be about 5 points off in the expected data. So you can look for little things like that if you love numbers and want to play along. But other than that, the live betting opportunities, some of them are okay. A lot of times you just run into situations where the juice is simply too high to really get involved.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. Now, while we're on the NBA, I want to ask this, and we're not going to break the game down because obviously you guys will do that tomorrow, but it is Friday, and there might be some people out there that have parlay opportunities going into this weekend. As you look to a Suns-Clippers game for tomorrow, and again, not saying we're going to break this thing down, but just looking from 10,000-foot view above, right? So you've got the Clippers legitimately who are, I think, 0-6 in games 1 and 2 in the postseason this year, 9-1 in all games outside of that. Okay, so anybody that has a parlay possibly with that game on tomorrow, I think the Suns are a 1.5-point favorite. Just kind of any initial thoughts that you have on game 4 in that series. And again, we don't have to break it down, but just kind of initial thoughts that you have, after seeing the Clippers kind of get back in that series. Zach, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think anytime a team that's hot, the Suns, they won 9 straight. They haven't had any issues since that game 3 loss to the Lakers when Anthony Davis went down the following game. So anytime a team's hot and then loses suddenly, I think it's a problem. The Clippers, they have the momentum right now. And really, if you look at it, they could have won game 1. They had game 2, so this could be a flipped series right now. But the Clippers are confident, and I would definitely be cautious, especially with Devin Booker. I think that mask is an issue for him. Pat Beverly's not letting him go anywhere. He's shooting horribly. Chris Paul looked awful in game 3, and the rotation is a little bit off. They don't know if they want to lean on Mikal Bridges. They don't know if they want to lean on Cam Johnson. So the rotation is a little bit off for the Suns right now.
Yeah,
Mike.
I would tend to agree with it. Mikal Bridges definitely lost some minutes. Fortunately, got the over for me last night still, but definitely lost some minutes. They also are going to be the Cameron Payne situation with that injury wasn't ideal, especially with Chris Paul not looking like himself, Devin Booker not at full strength. Do we get any Kawhi Leonard at all? That remains to be seen. But overall, the Suns should be favored still. I make them minus 2.7. It's going to be another very competitive game, in my opinion. So, if you watch the game, I do think the Clippers got a few really key calls, especially Paul George got a little more respect from the officiating crew in that game, which, I get it, obviously. But overall, I haven't dove too deeply into it other than to say that there's slight model edge on the Phoenix Suns at the current number. But we'll see how healthy Chris Paul is and if we get any sort of news on Kawhi.
Yeah, I think you're right. Obviously, we've got a lot of time, a lot of information to come out. Now, you brought up a good point, and I want to bring this up to you guys in terms of officiating, okay? So looking at the game tonight, all right, with the Hawks and the Bucks, is there anything or any players in particular that you're looking that could get in foul trouble that would throw off potential bets, throw off potential props? Any players that you worry that could find themselves in foul trouble tonight? Mike, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, the most obvious one is Giannis. I mean, the way he plays, the way he attacks the basket, the way he does that little spin move in the lane that he does. Like during the regular season, we routinely see him get, 1 to 2 offensive fouls called a game. An untimely one of those followed by or preceded by a quick, silly defensive foul on the other end could mean a lot of trouble for them. You could say the same thing for Clint Capella a little bit. Obviously, Trae Young, is not really necessarily in danger there, but with Drew Holiday's quickness and the attention that he has on him, those two both could get mixed up. But for me, it's obviously Giannis in the style of play. He's protecting the rim a lot of the time, and then that dangerous spin move as he try and, for Giannis, the goal is frankly to get as close to the basket as possible always, right? And when you do that aggressively like he does at his size, there's always a risk for foul trouble.
Yeah, you're right. Zach, any thoughts?
Oh, I think Mike hit it on the head with those two players, especially with Capella. I've been hurt with him before. He struggles in the first quarter at times, so he needs to be on the floor for them to have a chance.
Nice. All right, now 00 in the chat asked, any props on baseball? And I know that we covered it, but give it a chance to kind of jump back in again. Give your thoughts here, Zach. I'll kick it to you first. What MLB props do you have going today?
Well, I had the Kana prop, and I actually was going to mention William Hill. They have it on where you can prop 2 players to hit a home run. I do like Kana and Manny Machado is plus 1,200. I do. Manny Machado's hit 2 home runs in his last 3 games, hitting the ball well. We touched on Mad Max saying the team total over 5. I think Machado's going to have a good game tonight, and that's a good proposition for me. Plus 1,200 there with those 2 players to hit a home run.
Yep. I'll mention quickly just because I'm sure we'll get it in the chat at some point. Kana is actually not going to play tonight, unfortunately.
Oh,
he
ruled out.
Popped up on the injury list. Yeah. He's going to possibly the 10-day here, but it looks like he is out of the lineup tonight for the A's, unfortunately, because I am also on the A's tonight. So,
well, that was good information to have. Now, let me ask you guys this, because we've got another trend that's forming in the NHL. We've got obviously a Game 7 tonight. Islanders, Lightning. You look at the Lightning. Braden Point, he scored a goal in 9 straight games. Now, I'm not a big NHL prop guy. Is that a market that either of you guys ever play? Do you hit in first goal scorers? Do you hit player props in NHL, especially in playoff games?
I personally do not. The time that I do it is in the regular season on shots on goal. That's pretty much the only time that I'm playing. You're looking for certain matchups. You look for certain narrative games, things like that. But overall, for better or worse, I stopped simulating the NHL at the end of the regular season because of all the sports overlap. And I enjoy watching it as a fan, but just the markets aren't big enough for me to keep up with it, frankly. And unfortunately, I wish I could do it all, but I can't.
Well, I mean, we do put a lot on your shoulders, Mike. So, I mean, it's okay. Now, Zach, I'll throw it to you. Any thoughts? NHL player props? Anything that you hit? Anything that you see that you like tonight?
No, I'm in the same boat as well. We touched on this with Coach on Wednesday's show. I like to watch it as a fan, but in terms of betting, I haven't really dove too much into hockey this year.
Yeah, I totally see it. And Mike, I think you're right. Like, once the market kind of evolves and grows, I think that there's going to be a lot more opportunity. But yeah, I mean, with everything that both of you guys have going on, it's obviously a ton. Now, we've only, got about 10 minutes left, but that doesn't mean that everyone has to stop hitting their likes. We want to get those up. We want to give out free subscriptions. We're trying to do it. Zach and Mike are literally trying to hand you the gold for this weekend, but you've got to hit those likes. We got to get up to 200. So everybody, make sure that you do it. We've got 10 minutes to do that. We'll give away 2 out. Now, so let's just kind of recap where we're at, what we've got tonight, what we have going on. Zach, so you've got the Athletics money line minus 108. And yeah, I saw obviously kind of it doesn't look like he's going to play. Mike, run us through again. What are your plays? And I know that you guys hit, on the morning show as well, but just give everybody an idea what all you've got going tonight.
So my plays for tonight, I took the over in the St. Louis Cardinals Pittsburgh Pirates game, played that at 8.5 this morning, gave that out on the early edge. And then the second play, the Oakland A's on the first 5 run line, minus half a run. So it is a loss if the score is tied at the end of 5. They must be winning at the end of 5 innings. That's coming back at plus 120. I made that 51% in the Sims. So literally just over 20 cents of value, massive value there. again, betting on Cimini getting that nice little league shift, great pitching environment. And then Johnny Cueto, I do think he potentially struggles even the first trip through the order. I think the thing with Cueto is he's going to struggle the first time through the order, or he's going to be essentially lights out against this lineup and, pitch into the 6th inning. I'm betting on him having some struggles in that first 3 innings. So that's where I'm at on it. Those are the only 2 baseball plays. And in an NBA, I did make the Bucks over 225 an official play, and then a lean on Kevin Herter over 13.5 points.
Yep. Zach, I kick it over to you. I know we just talked, but yeah, throw us out. Run us through what you got today, tonight. What's on your menu?
Yeah, I'm a little upset with kind of being ruled out. That's some breaking news. Second breaking news we've had on this show in this hour. But I also have been Manny Machado. He's the same proposition offering on price point at plus 250 to hit a home run. Then the A's minus 108. I like that they're back in the Bay Area after a week off. I think they get on San Francisco, who had yesterday off. They jump right back into rhythm as they played yesterday against the Rangers. And then Pat Connaughton. This is a player, even if they're in a blowout, he's going to be on the floor because they're going to need some type of leadership on the floor. Pat Connaughton can carry any type of role players that the Bucks put in the late 4th quarter. So 6.5 is a low number for him. I think he bounces back from a rough game 1 from a shooting standpoint.
I love it. Now, we get to this question a lot in the chat. The White Sox, any thoughts here? Because we've seen their crazy streaks that they've had against left-handed pitchers. We've seen it kind of leak a little bit. They've had injuries. They're at home tonight against the Seattle Mariners. Anybody have any thoughts on this game?
They should win the game, obviously, as a minus 200 favorite. I don't have any value on betting on them there, but if you blindly want to continue to bet on them, White Sox on the run line, whatever, at home, if that's what you want to do against the lefty, like they still hit left-handed pitching very well. They're back in the American League Park, so they have the designated hitter back. Lineup looks fine. There's a slight chance of rain, but other than that, I don't have much on the game other than, unfortunately they're a team that is drawing a lot of public attention at this point. So from like a model perspective, when you're simulating games, like there's that 2 to 4% of inflation baked in to where you're essentially never able to play them other than potentially on the run line in specific spots. But this one did not pop as one of those.
Makes sense. Zach, any thoughts there?
Yeah, it is. I don't really have too much to say on that. Rodon is coming off that loss against the Astros where they lost 2-1. So he's still pitching good. He's only given up 3 runs for the entire month of June. You got to expect that the White Sox can get runs against the Mariners.
Nice. Now, here's another question, and not to throw, something kind of curveball at you, but I'm here in Nashville. All right. We talked about one Atlanta team with the Hawks, okay, going up tonight. I get questions from my friends, everybody that, just kind of, talks on Twitter, to ask you guys, the experts, about the Atlanta Braves, because there's so many people that want to pull their hair out constantly with this team. They play good, they play bad, they can't get a read on them whatsoever. We've got the Atlanta Braves in a series this weekend against Cincinnati, I believe. Yeah, that's right, in Cincinnati. Any thoughts to the Braves tonight, this weekend, in futures bets? Do you see this team getting better? Do you see them becoming a more consistent style team? Just kind of any round ball thoughts on the Atlanta Braves whatsoever. Mike, I'll throw it to you.
The lineup is absolutely loaded. Acuna's back in the lineup tonight. You got to have him in the lineup. Obviously, Marcell Ozuna not with the team. That was a big hit for them. But, they should be better, but the pitching is very, very troublesome. Like tonight, they're running Drew Smyly out there. Looking at some of the expected data, you can call it expected data. You can call it actual data if you want to, because his numbers are about the same. He rates 241st in Major League Baseball as a pitcher so far this season. In terms of expected weighted on base average, the actual number slightly better than the expected number. Not the thing you want to see. You want the expected to be a lot better than the actual. But either way, he's going to be well below 200th. Again, this is all starters and relievers, but anyone who's thrown enough pitches and had enough balls in play to be qualified, he is very, very, very near the bottom. Brutal spot for him to pitch. So these are the games where you look at that lineup. This is a spot where normally if they were right, they had a good pitcher on the mound, they should be a minus 150 favorite, not an even money play. And they're an even money play because they have one of the worst starting pitchers in Major League Baseball throwing for them today.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you just laid out. Yeah, Zach, any thoughts on the Atlanta Braves?
They've won the division 3 years in a row, so there's definitely a chance that they can come back. They're just 5.5 games back, and you look before All-Star break, they're going to face the Marlins twice in series, and then they have a series against the Pirates as well. So this is a chance this weekend against the Reds to gain in the standings and then get closer right before All-Star break against the Marlins and Pirates.
I like it. I like it. Now, before we wrap up the show, I'm going to give everybody, you got 1 more minute to get to 200 likes, and I'm going to cut this thing off if you don't get there. So trust me, Larry's out. Coach is out. I'm in charge here. I'm going to cut the thing off, so you better start hitting those likes really, really quickly. We've got a great night, not only NBA, MLB, NHL. We've got a really good sports weekend here coming up. I wanted to say this. For anybody that's paying attention to the College World Series, obviously you saw pure insanity and banana land that came from Vanderbilt and NC State earlier today with the COVID situation. You're going to have a game tonight between Mississippi State and Texas. Keep an eye on that one. Mississippi State is an underdog in this situation. They've got Hootie on the mound, who's a pretty good left-handed pitcher. He doesn't necessarily go long into games, but there's something about this Mississippi State team. One, I think that they're better than Texas. Two, this is a team that has been to Omaha over and over and over and over again that is trying to push through. I think they see the craziness that's going on the other side of the bracket, and they realize this is their time to really do it and push through. So keep an eye there. Mississippi State, underdog. Yeah, I think it's like plus 120 last I saw. Yeah, keep an eye there. So somebody talk to me. Did we hit 200 likes? I don't think we did we? Well, I'll tell you what.
I don't have the number.
Yeah, I tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. Because you guys are so great and you had me on. Here's the thing. Let's go ahead and find us one winner. Charge this one on me. I'm going to put this sub on me. But next time, you better get to 200 or I'm going to be really upset. So let's find us a winner. Everybody, put in the chat really quickly your Twitter name and tell us who is going to cover the spread tonight. We're going to put it at 9. You've got the Hawks plus 9. You got the Bucks minus 9. Tell us the team that's going to cover that spread. Put your Twitter handle in there, and we'll choose a winner really quickly. Now, while we're doing that, guys, I want to say it is an absolute honor to be on with you guys. I look forward to doing it more with you. This show is fantastic, and everybody in the chat is awesome. I love that we're doing this. It's such a good thing. And I love that everyone in the chat puts in what they're playing as well, because this thing is about everybody together, right? It's all of us against the sports books. Don't get me wrong, William Hill, we love you. We absolutely do. But it's about us playing against all of them. So let's get this. Let's all do it together. I think we have a winner. Yes, we do. All right. DC Sheldon 1970. You are our winner. Congratulations. Welcome to the SportsLine team. Happy to have you. Everyone make sure, continue to tune in at every show that we have, and you could be the next winner that we do. So, Zach, Mike, I kick it to you, Zach. I'll go first. Over to you. Any final parting thoughts that you have for everybody?
I didn't mention it, but the Dodgers, this could be a run line opportunity tonight. The Cubs have won the first 4 games against the Dodgers this year. We saw the no-hitter yesterday, combined no-hitter. So there's definitely value in going against a team off a no-hitter. And the Dodgers, I think they respond tonight. But on the run line, I would take them on the lower price point.
I love it. Mike?
Final thoughts here. I guess let's go Bucks. Let's get the over. Let's put a little pressure on Larry Hartstein and the maestro here on this little prop bet that we have. So, yeah, I hope the Bucks win. I hope the A's win. That'll be nice for Zach and I if we get that one. And good luck in all your bets tonight, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's definitely put some pressure on Larry. He needs it. All right. We're going to put it on him for sure. Well, no, for everybody at the early edge, for Mike, for Zach, Larry, Coach, everybody, you name it, from SportsLine, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time. And let's make some money this weekend.
Do you want best bets in your feed every single day? All you have to do is hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Early Edge.